level flight. We may notice a stall warning horn, buffet, and also a sloppiness of controls. To recover from this situation, we simply move the control column forward, simultaneously applying full power to bring the aircraft back to straight and level flight. But if we don't take recovery at this point, what can happen? We then go on to the stall. Now, the stall is a condition where the angle of attack has reached such a point where we see airflow disturbed over the back of the wing, causing the lift to be reduced, the drag to significantly increase. A condition where the angle of attack is such that there is insufficient lift to support the weight of the aircraft, and this we call the stall. It may result in nose drop followed by wing drop, and as a consequence we must take recovery action. And the recovery action by coincidence is exactly the same as for slow flight, namely control column forward, full power, rudder this time to prevent further yaw, again to bring the aircraft back into a situation where the airflow is flowing smoothly over the wing.
Stall recovery. Our aim here is to learn to recognise the symptoms of an approaching stall and to recover with the minimum loss of height. So, we've completed the Hazel checks, carburetor heat to hot, throttle slowly but completely close, a squeeze of left rudder to maintain balance, airspeed reducing. Note the new position of the nose against the horizon, controls more sloppy. 70 knots we hear the stall warner horn, carburetor heat to cold. Little bit of buffet over the controls, 65 knots, and the nose nods, the aircraft stalls, recover full power, rudder to prevent further yaw, airspeed increasing, and reselecting the safe climbing attitude to recover out of the stall. Returning back to our previous altitude, 3,500 feet. And once you get there, reselect the level flight attitude, back into straight level flight.
And now a view of the stall from the wingtip. Speed reducing, attitude increasing, flying controls losing their bite, aircraft stalled, recover, control column forward, full power, speed safe, and back into the climb. Let's now see the instrument indications of another stall. Speed reducing, increasing nose attitude, controls losing effectiveness, buffet, nose drop followed by wing drop, a rapid loss in height, a high rate of descent as we take recovery action.
So what happens when the engine fails, or we have a similar problem that causes us to make a forced landing? Well, the first thing we must do is establish the aircraft in the correct gliding attitude, at the correct gliding speed. Look then for a field, suitable size, sensible shape, good surroundings, and a good surface, and most importantly, into wind. Now, assuming the field meets those requirements, and it won't always, it's then time to plan the circuit around the field, plan the approach. On the downwind leg of the field, probably starting at around about 2,000 feet, go through the restart checks, see if you can find the cause of failure and restart the engine. Make the mayday call, clearly, sensibly, so that air traffic control can get the facilities to you in time. As you reach about this point, approximately 1,000 feet above ground level, you'll be just approaching the beginning of the base leg. Then it's time to do the shutdown checks, make the aircraft safe and secure for the eventual touchdown. Now is also the time to decide whether you're too high and need to do some S-turns or steer away from the field, or even use some flap. Or, if you're too low, to steer into the field and delay any use of flap. Once established on final approach, again, make the decision. Are you too high or are you too low for the approach? Should you use flap? Should you make more S-turns? The aim being, of course, to land to 1/3 to a halfway into the field, but bringing that landing position closer to you with the use of flap. Very, very important, a safe and accurate control of the correct approach speed on final approach, remembering to ensure a safe main wheel landing onto a surface that you may not be familiar with.
And now the forced landing without power. Our aim here is to learn to land the aircraft safely in the event of a total loss of power. So, without more ado, let's simulate this. Carburetor heat hot, throttle completely closed. Practice, practice, we have an engine failure simulated. Maintaining the level flight attitude, airspeed at 80, our glide descent speed, and reselecting the known descent attitude. Looking for a field? Well, 5 S's: size, surface, slope, shape, and surroundings. And there we have it to our left, a perfect field. Turning left now onto a crosswind, we need to be at least 2,000 feet by the time we start our downwind leg. How's it looking? Oh, not too bad. So, checks, cause of failure. The fuel is on, the mixture is rich, the magnetos are on, the carburetor heat is hot, the fuel pump is on. Cause of failure cannot be determined. So, mayday call, mayday, mayday, mayday. Luton approach, this is Golf, November, Oscar, Delta, Yankee. Total engine failure, intention forced landing, position over Cheddington, level passing 1900 feet, heading 290 degrees. Private pilot's license, 1 POB. So good look around all the time, maintaining the orientation, maintaining the lookout as we turn onto our downwind heading, downwind of the field that we've chosen. The field is into wind, it's a good shape, it's a good length. All the time being very careful to maintain that airspeed. Now because this is a practice, I'm just going to warm the engine and throttle slowly closed. Alright, we've done the cause of failure checks, we've done the mayday call. The final checks to go are the shutdown checks. So, simulated only, throttle closed, mixture idle cutoff, fuel off, fuel pump off, magnetos off, canopy crack open. Looking at the field all the time, keep the field in sight, never lose sight of the field, as we now turn onto our base leg for the field. Trying to make this as close as possible to a normal glide approach that we would do back at our departure aerodrome. Here we are then, on a left base, shortly turning towards final approach. Are we too high? Yes, we are. So we're going to select some flap at this stage. Flap, as you know, will increase the rate of descent. Still maintaining the speed very carefully at the right speed, looking towards the field now. 80 knots. Looking good. Looking good. Just beginning to note the effects of the wind a little bit better now. As we come down towards base leg, everything's looking good, checking towards final approach, remembering this is a practice, so we will not be overshooting below 500 feet above ground level. As we turn on to final approach now, a little bit of turbulence. Around about 700 to 800 feet above ground level at this moment, looking good. Yes, we're definitely going to get in there, so advise the passengers, simulated, brace yourselves, seat as far back as possible and harness as tight and as secure as possible. Definitely into the field. No problem at all. There we are, 500 feet above ground level and going around. The PPL is not only about practicing various maneuvers with an instructor, it's also about consolidating all those exercises that you do with him on your own. This builds confidence and expertise. Your hours will be built up in practicing general handling and emergencies, circuit work, dual and solo cross countries, and dual instrument flying.
We're now going to look at instrument flying. To fly the aircraft accurately on instruments is not easy. And for the purpose, we have 6 main instruments: airspeed indicator, attitude indicator, altimeter, vertical speed indicator, direction indicator, and turn coordinator. The attitude indicator shows us pitch up,